Hello, sisters. Welcome to She Talks. I'm Sara Avant Stover, a yoga and meditation teacher, best-selling author, and founder of The Way, the Happy Woman. I'm so happy to share that my brand new book, The Book of She, Your Heroine's Journey into the Heart of Feminine Power, is now available wherever books are sold and at thebookofshe.com. To celebrate her arrival throughout the months of October and November, I'll be featuring a special series called She Stories, where we hear the heroines' journeys of 14 inspiring female leaders. I'm so happy you're here, and I hope you enjoyed today's interview. Hello, beautiful women. Welcome home, and welcome to She Talks. Today is a really special day. It is my birthday, and it's also the final day of our She Stories series. As many of you know, since October 1st, I've been sharing stories here on the podcast of other women's heroines' journeys. And this has been my way of celebrating the birth of my new book, The Book of She, into the world, and also shining the light on what the heroine's journey is and giving voice to it through women's own stories and lives. So today is our grand finale, and if you're new to the podcast, I encourage you to also go back and listen to the rest of this series. It started on October 1st when this podcast was born. If you enjoyed it, I would really appreciate if you would leave a review of the podcast here on iTunes to help other women to find this material as well. So to honor my birthday and to honor this closing interview, today I invited a very special guest with us, my own mother. And there's a powerful Buddhist teaching that beckons all of us to regard every being we come into contact with as having been our mother in a past life. So this world is created anew over and over again through the power of mothers. None of us would be here if it weren't for our mothers. And especially in the Western world, our relationships with our mothers are often complicated. And this is challenging because it's from this primary bond that we as women develop our sense of self-esteem, our relationship to our own womanhood, and it really even influences our own immunity and tendency towards addiction and overall health throughout our entire lives. And in the Book of She, I devoted a whole chapter on this called Healing the Mother Wound, which I encourage you to take a closer look at to begin exploring this in your own life. So it's my honor to welcome my own mother here today, Sara Avant Stover, after whom I was named, and whom my friends affectionately called Sara Senior when I was growing up. So my mom is the mother of 4 daughters, and she was born in St. Louis, Missouri. She moved to New York City as a young woman, where she met and fell in love and married my father. And they later moved to the suburbs in Connecticut, which is where I grew up, and she now lives in Chicago, Illinois, where she can be close to her very adorable grandchildren. So welcome, Mom.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. It's nice to talk to you.
Yeah.
And happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you for giving birth to me.
Oh, you were born on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, my little turkey.
Little turkey. The little turkey who actually doesn't like turkey.
I know. Well,
it's ironic.
That's his life.
Yeah. So, Mom, you and I have had these conversations privately before. When I was younger, I used to love to interview you with my tape recorder just to hear about your life and family history. And many years ago, you invited me to hear your story at an AA meeting where you used to live in New Canaan, Connecticut. And that was really the first time that I heard your full story. And I know a lot has happened since then. How many years ago was that I went to that meeting?
That was at least 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
So a lot has happened since then as well.
Yes, thank God. I'm a different person, I think.
Yeah, I think we both are.
Yeah.
So, Mom, we always start our gatherings here at The Way the Happy Woman with a personal check-in. So I'd love for you to share with our listeners where you're calling from and just what's alive for you today in your body, mind, and heart.
Well, I'm in my at my desk in Chicago on the 25th floor, looking out on Lake Michigan and the lighthouse of Navy Pier. It's a beautiful day, bright blue sky. It's cold and windy, so there are whitecaps on the lake, and it's just very, it's just very expansive, which is kind of how I'm feeling these days. I've just come back from my daily water class, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling I'm feeling whole, which is a very new experience for me. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy. I'm happy.
Beautiful. I'm envious of the lake today.
Oh, I know. And yes, it is spectacular.
Yeah. So, Mom, I think where I want to start is going back to your childhood, growing up in St. Louis, and overall, what were the messages that you learned either directly or indirectly from your parents, from teachers, from anyone else about being female, about being a girl?
I don't know that I ever really got any. I was very much a tomboy. I had very, very short hair, and there was really nothing feminine about me. I was in an all-girls Sacred Heart convent with nuns and habits, and so there was no femininity or anything. So I don't remember any, and I don't remember having conversations with my mother about womanhood and what it is to be a young girl or a woman. I certainly wish, and I'm not saying that because I'm your mother, but I wish that I had in my hands when I was growing up the Book of She, because I would have been given the roadmap to life and coping with life that I didn't get. I must have missed that class or something, but I struggled, and when I was at the convent, however, I was very I did well. I was a good little girl, and I got my little pink sash ribbon that I wore every day on my uniform to show the world that I was a good little girl. I did what I was what I was told to do and what I thought was expected of me, and then in later life, when I was a so-called bad little girl, I was lost, because I just didn't have the support and guidance I needed to get through what I had to get through.
So that was your whole identity, was the good girl.
Yes. Yeah.
And we'll get to that, identity crisis that came later on. But what messages did you pick up from your mother, my grandmother, whom I call Mimi? But what did you pick up from her?
Well, it's something that I realize now that I learned near the end of her life, and it was just one of those, oh my God, it all makes sense now. Mom was everybody loved her. She was always happy to
the life of the party.
See you, and yes, and she, everybody loved Sadie. But I found out that there was a price she paid for that. Her mother, my grandmother Nana, suffered from severe depression, which was untreated except for shock treatments, which were really really weren't discussed, but I knew they happened. So Mom said that her mother Nana took to the bed and didn't go to Mom's graduation from high school.
Mm.
And at some point, Mom's father, my grandfather Banny, told Mom, told her that because Nana was so sad, my grandfather needed Mom to be happy all the time. And when I heard that, it was like, oh my God, it all fits together now. That's why the message that I got was, don't talk about how you feel. Pretend nothing's wrong and be good. And that's the message. That message almost killed me.
Mm.
And I carried that into my adulthood. I had no idea, that these not being able to say how I felt or what I thought, they almost destroyed me.
Yeah.
Because I had nothing. I eventually had nothing inside of me. There was no hope, no love, no joy, and I just when my marriage was falling apart, I couldn't talk about it. We had to be the perfect family, and I was dead inside.
Yeah.
Numb. I was a shell. So yeah. So that's that's the message that I got. Having said all of that, my mom and dad were they were wonderful, and I loved them very, very much, and but there was a period of time after Mom died, Dad had already died, that I got very, very angry. And thankfully, with help, worked through it. And now to a day, they did the best they could with what they had, and they gave me every material thing I could ever want. But I just needed, I needed more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And what about your relationship with your father, and this archetype of the father's daughter that I talk about in the book of She, of just trying to, it fits into the good girl and trying to succeed, to do everything well, to be loved in our father's eyes, whether it's our actual father or society's eyes. How did you relate to that? How did you relate to him?
I adored him. But I was also afraid to disappoint him. And I looked to him for everything. And I realized that after he died and I didn't have him anymore, and I realized then that I did not have a relationship with my mother, really, because I didn't have to. I had a dad. We did things to get together. You know, we would go fishing. We played golf. We would putter around the house because, as you remember, he always had his toolbox with him. You know, he was always puttering. But I just tried to do what I thought he would make him happy, because I absolutely adored him.
Yeah. And was there a price that you paid for that later on?
Yes, of course, yes. Because when I disappointed him terribly, I was just consumed with shame and guilt, and pretty much from then on held back from just held back, because I just knew that I really screwed up.
Yeah. So I remember years ago you went on a shamanic soul retrieval with someone, and a memory surfaced about grade school, about your voice, about your speech. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, I had. I was at this villa in St. Louis, the convent, and I was there through sixth grade, and I was just, I was a leader and well respected, and I had friends, and academically I was doing just beautifully. I got awards and my pink ribbon, and then one day Mom said to me, "You're changing schools. You're going to Mary Institute," which was the school that my grandmother went to, and my mother and my sister was there. And so I was plunked down into a school where I didn't know anybody, and I was totally lost. I thought I had done something wrong, and I was very angry too, which I realized later, because I wasn't given a voice. I wasn't asked my opinion, and I struggled, and I was put in an honors class, and I eventually had to be taken out of it because I couldn't keep up. So that just added to my lack of self-esteem and fear. I was racked by fear every day in class, and as a result, I started stuttering significantly, and that's something that I struggle with still, 60 years later, 50 years later. But it just, it's like I lost who I was. You know, Sally Hatton was, you know, I lost her, and I didn't know how to get her back.
And then as you started to graduate from high school, I know that you've alluded to a conflict with your parents when you felt that you betrayed that image of the good girl. Can you tell us a little bit more about that transition into the next part of your life?
Yes, as a result of my actions and behavior, I felt rejected. I felt abandoned. I felt I was without a compass, and I felt like I couldn't talk about it. And it was the message that I got was we are going to pretend like nothing happened, and life will go on.
Yeah.
And so I was forced, even though we all have choices, I stuffed it, and I fled. It's either fear and flight. I fled St. Louis, and as you've heard me say before, when I got on the plane to New York, I got on the plane as Sally, and when I got off the plane, I got off the plane as Sarah.
Was that a conscious decision?
No.
No.
It just I was trying to survive.
Yeah.
And again, I didn't know this until I was in recovery.
Yeah.
And as a part of the fourth step, and so I went to New York and lived a new life.
Yeah. And that's where you met my father, whom I call Papa. So.
Yes. Your father.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you two were married for 22 years?
We were married, let me see, from 73 to 96. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 96, I think. Yeah, 95. Yeah.
And you started out living in New York City, where my older sister Shaw and I were born, and then moved to Darien, Connecticut, a very wealthy suburb of New York, and raised your 4 daughters there.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. Yes, I did.
And this marriage then ended in divorce about 20 years ago. Would you say that this crisis of the divorce became kind of the portal into becoming who you are today, into like really launching you on your heroine's journey? Yes, because I had bottom, and once again I felt like I was a failure. Once again I screwed up. Once again I was filled with just shame and once again I was lost and alone, and I felt abandoned. Added to the mix was I was drinking, and my drinking turned into an addiction, and I became
a closet alcoholic because I still had to be perfect, and I still couldn't let anybody know how much pain I was in. And those are those old messages that I got. Just be happy all the time.
Yeah.
I was. It was terrible. It was very dark, and it was very near the end. It was very isolating, and I was just a shell. So yes, and it is my journey in recovery that has really changed my life, and I think I'm a very different person now.
And I remember I was studying abroad in Accra, Ghana, in my junior year in college. I think that was the fall of '97. And I got a phone call from you. I remember it was in the hallway of the house that I was staying in, and it was nighttime there, and I kind of crouched in a corner with the phone, and you had called to tell me that you were an alcoholic and that you were going to AA.
Yeah.
And you've been sober ever since.
Yeah.
And what made you blow the whistle on yourself? Because usually it's someone else that makes you go to AA.
I just the only way that I can describe it is that there was one night that was like any other night. I was drunk. It was dark. It was the middle of the night, and I was on the deck on our house on Bryan Road, and I just, for the grace of God, I had this moment of clarity where I just looked up at the sky and I said, I can't do this anymore. I had no idea what this was, but I was just, I hit bottom. And I am just so very grateful that I heard the message that the universe was giving me, and that I took somebody's hand, and asked for help, and went to my first AA meeting the next day with Gail, and I just thought I was going to stop drinking. I had no idea that my entire life and how I think and how I feel and how I react was going to a change. And
the drinking was just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. It was just It's been quite a ride,
So what have been some of the biggest lessons since your sobriety? The biggest changes in you?
Well, I think I learned, and I'm going to attribute this to you because I think we were going for a walk. This was, not recently. We were going for a walk in Boulder, and we were having one of our talks, and you said to me, if you love yourself, you're not going to hurt yourself. And that was like this, oh my God, wow, that's true. Because when I was younger, I was a cutter, and then I was anorexic, and then I was an alcoholic. So I hurt myself. I abused me. And I abused me because I didn't love me. And it was through the 12 steps and therapy that I learned to love me, and to there's a sentence in The Art of Racing in the Rain, which is a wonderful book about a dog, where it's something like we need to shine all of our light all of the time. And so I understand now that I have a light, and many times I am the light. And so I try to shine it all the time, not only not only for me, but for the people I love.
And what have been some of your biggest lessons as a mother to four grown women now?
Well, I think that I think it was important for me to listen to what each one of you wanted to do, and it was your life, not my life. And so I just tried to support each of your endeavors, and just to try to be consistent, but most importantly to just love each of you unconditionally, no matter what. I was there, and I was always going to be there.
Yeah.
And that would never change.
Yeah. Yeah, you've done a really good job with that, Mom. And the four of us are so different, and you
very.
You really honor our differences.
There were times when it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
But we it's just so wonderful to see each one of you doing what you set out to do.
Yeah.
It really is it just doesn't get much better than that as a parent.
Mm-hmm.
Really doesn't,
And now you're a grandmother to four.
Yes, grandmother.
And that has really shifted things for you.
Yes. So they are not allowed to call me grandma. Sassy. Yes, it's just, I've just learned that, I always, I just wanted to, it was overload and turbo and Uber, and, I just wanted to, I just thought it had to be over the top, and so now I just get just great joy out of. I'm going to Hattie's Thanksgiving feast on Monday, and I just love doing that kind of stuff, and just
the little moments,
just a being, yes, because it's just that's what's important, I've been all over the world, and I've been in the middle of nowhere in Kenya and Tanzania and India and Burma, and but sometimes you have to leave home to come home.
Yeah.
And I did numerous geographics and moving from place to place to place, always looking for happiness. When hello, it was within me, inside me, and so I'm my own power source, and it's taken me a long time to understand that, but I now do, and I think that I think that that's kind of a really, really recent thing because, as you know, this past year was kind of a hard year for me physically because I had my shoulder surgery, and I had to spend like 2 months not able to do the things that I do, and I had to spend 2 months with me, and
in the winter in Chicago with a sling
in the winter in Chicago, on the 25th floor. Yeah, and I knew that the only thing I had to do was heal, and so I think something happened, and when I was healing my shoulder, I think I also healed my heart. And granted, I was on pain pills, which is, good. But I just, there was just a shift, and I kind of accepted the fact that I was immobile, and there was nothing that I could do about it. And I just used my time just to be with me. And then, unfortunately, I had to do the same thing again this summer when I broke the damn shoulder. And I did it again. I just was with me and just enjoying, I was very grateful for my health overall. And I just really, there was just this shift that I used the healing energy to heal the emotional me too, so, and that's why I feel, whole, that's, Sarah Sassy person, me, is just now one person rather than three different people who led three very different lives, but with a common denominator of just emotional pain and just not feeling part of, so now I do,
That's really beautiful. And this spring you're approaching your 70th birthday.
Yes.
And I just really appreciate your willingness to grow and change, and it seems stronger now than ever before, which isn't uncommon. And where does this come from? And you alluded to it, that night that you were out on the deck looking up at the sky when you just knew you had to get sober. There was a listening to the universe. And you've lived a very soulful life, really listened to this inner direction, really had a willingness to keep evolving, and now even working with others who have addictions and working with people in hospice care, being really generous with supporting others on their healing journeys. Where does this come from, do you think?
I think it's always been in me. I've always been very, in spite of everything, I've always been very compassionate and have had empathy and have this ability to relate to people just with a smile or whatever. But I think as we age, what is that thing, Christiane Northrup, that wonderful book you gave me, Goddesses Never
Age.
Yeah. What is it, getting older is inevitable, but aging is optional. As we age and look at realize we're in the winter or the fall of our lives, You know, it isn't about me. You know, it's about others. And you know, I think it was in your chapter about mortality and the crone. You know, as you age, I have a different attitude, and it is. I have nothing to lose now. I have nothing to lose. You know, I've passed that point, and who I am cannot be taken away from me. Or put another way, I will not allow who I am to be taken away from me by anybody. You know, I have become me, and I'm proud of me, and I've cleared away the wreckage of the past through the 12 steps, and I have this life of service to others with my partner in crime, Harley, and he has been a gift to me out of the blue, and he has taught me just, you know, about joy, and just, you know, he just is this wonderful soul who is, the minute he walks into a room, he's like an angel has appeared, you know, and I'm just amazed that how, you know, the universe brought me. I mean, you know, we've had dogs all of our lives, Sarah, you know, and rabbits and birds and blah blah blah. But this dog is very, very, he's very special, and he was born to be a therapy dog. You know, he was a rescue dog, but he is born to be a therapy dog and to help others, and I'm the person who takes them there. You know, so, and I get so much out of it that it's changed my life. I think it's softened me. I'm a softer person now, you know, and yeah.
Harley even has his own Facebook page now.
He does, yes, because the people who we visit want, you know, they just wanted to show him to their friends, and so one of them asked me to do a Facebook page, so I said, okay. So he has his Facebook page, soon to be on Instagram.
All right, Harley Stover, if anyone's interested in following Harley on social media.
I know, yes, I started a therapy dog program at Hazelden, Chicago, where I am once a week. We were there yesterday, and you know, he just makes you forget your troubles. And tomorrow we're going down to the University of Chicago oncology, and it's just it's giving back, passing it on, and giving back, and service to others. Because as much as I would like it to be different, it is not about me. You know.
And you mentioned that next week you're going to a Thanksgiving feast with Hattie at her school. Hattie is my niece and my mom's granddaughter. What is something that you would tell Hattie about being a girl, or something that you would go back and tell your younger self?
Oh, it's something that I would absolutely tell her, and this may sound trite and cliche in the 21st century, but you know, you can be you can be whatever you want to be and do whatever you want to do. Because I didn't get that message, and you know, and just like in the art of racing in the range, just shine all of your light all of the time. Because you are a beautiful soul, and you are loved, and just go girl.
You go girl.
Yeah. So because I didn't get those messages, so but it was the 50s and 60s.
It's a different generation.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And what are your favorite ways of just connecting with yourself, connecting with your inner light, connecting with your joy? How do you love to spend your time?
Well, I aside from the therapy job work, I've started my swimming again, and I have a waterproof iPod, and I have music on it, and I swim to the music, and I am transported to another element, and that's where I do my meditating, and it's like I'm a mermaid, and I'm swimming to the rhythm of these songs, and I'm just transported to a whole nother world, and it's quite phenomenal, and I love it. And I really missed not being able to do that for the past year. And the other thing I do is pottery, hand building, and I love that.
And that's new, just the past few years.
Yeah, so since I moved to Chicago, because I miss not gardening, and I miss not feeling the Mother Earth,
Yeah.
And so I took up hand building and found that I love shapes and clean lines and textures and colors, and I've done some really I think beautiful things. They're just very, they're just very sleek, and I'm they're simple. They have a African style to them, and a Native American also. So I do that, and I have friends here now. I've carved out a life for me here, and I just I'm just really happy. I have I see Shaw and Anne, your sisters, and the grandchildren, and it's just you also reach a stage in life where I realize I don't need to water a field anymore. I can just water my own garden and be very happy. And so I'm watering my garden by doing these things that I love to do, and I'm blessed that I am able to do them.
And as you are approaching your 70th birthday, what feels like your growing edge on your heroine's journey, or the next frontier?
I think that I would like to. It's interesting how I see the heroine's journey mirroring the 12 steps of AA, and I actually, when I was reading, I think I was reading the Mother Wound this morning, since I'm your mother and you were going to be interviewing me.
You had to study up.
I had to study up one more time on that Mother Wound. I just realized that I would love to use the Book of She and the heroine's journey in my work with recovering addicts and alcoholics. Where I am in the heroine's journey is, I'm home, and it's time for me to pass it on to others and to share my journey with others as I'm doing now, but just in different forms. And so that's why I just thought that the Book of She would be a tremendous help in talking to other women about their journey of recovery, because that's my life now. That's my life, and it's and I'm just I'm very grateful to all the people along the way, some of whom are no longer with us, that have just helped me reach this stage in my life where I'm happy. Mm-hmm. I'm happy. Finally. Phew. God, it was exhausting, but I think I made it,
And most people never make it there.
No, I think I made it. That's not to say that, there's not something around the corner, but it's
not about the externals. It's
no, I just, I finally got my act together, finally, but I'm here, so.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Mom, and for being so generous with sharing your story. It's a really incredible story.
Well, and thank you for all you're doing for women, and I'm just so blessed that you and Shaw and Christian and Ann chose me to be your mom. What an honor. So,
thank you.
Okay.
If you're ready to go deeper into your heroine's journey, I invite you to explore my new book, The Book of She. You can visit thebookofshe.com to register your receipt for this order before October 30th. And when you do, you'll receive an invitation to join me and our community in a free online women's yoga and meditation class, as well as a live Q&A. Until next time, I'm sending you my heartfelt support. Thank you so much for being part of our sisterhood.